Howdy, Possum Patty and Little Miss Titi here. And as you can see, I'm very busy at the table. But this is like part 2 of yesterday's video, because in yesterday's video, I mentioned my idea for making faux Christmas stamps from fabric. And I said we were going to go out in the car and I wanted to pack a little sew-to-go bag, which I did. So I'm going to share those stamps with you. And when I got back, I just had this crazy idea of what to do with the stamps. And that's what I'm working on now. So, a few things to share with you, so come on along. First, let me show you what I was working on in the last video. I was following Janet Nash, and she was making faux fabric stamps as journaling ephemera. And so, following along with Janet Nash, I made this really fun little pink faux stamp. I slow stitched a butterfly on there with some sparkly gold thread. And I put some numbers from the fabric salvage on there and just a few stitches around the edge. And I did pack it with a little bit of felt. Now she was working on a strip or a roll of these, which made it easier to sew. But because I was working on this little tiny piece individually, I thought maybe the felt would help hold it while I was stitching. So I love that. And as I was doing this, I got the idea, you know, Christmas is coming up. Christmas stamps, right? Okay. So I got out these little fabric scraps. Now, I got these at the flea market over the summer. And I don't have a lot, but you don't need a lot for this project. Just a couple of little things here, red and green, and a few Christmas patterns. And I didn't have any felt nearby except for purple felt, and I said, well, let me grab some little bit of this cotton batting. So I have this cotton. It's very soft. I love this. I love to put anything on here. It's just so soft and cozy. I love it. I love it. I have some other Christmas fabric, but the pattern seemed a little bit too large to use on these little stamps. So I just put that aside. And I took this white fabric. Now it's really hard to see because it's white on white, but it has little tiny snowflakes on there and little tiny snowballs or something on there. Very hard to see. And I cut a strip and I used my pinking shears. I got a lot of things on the table right now. I use my pinking shears to cut the strip into these little sections. Now I wanted to pre-make these because I didn't want to carry these large scissors with me in the car. So I cut these little squares. Well, they're not really squares. I cut these little rectangles. And then I cut a little piece of batting to put on the back of each one. Now the batting doesn't have to be cut with the pinking shears. I just wanted it to be like that on the back. So I took a strip and I cut it into all these little faux stamp pieces. And now I've got a pile of them ready to go, all cut up to put into my sew-to-go bag. Like that. Oh, look at these little Christmas trees. Adorable. And I can't wait to make one with these cardinals. Look at these cardinals with the gold embossing on there. And the little snowmen. So these are going to be cute. Yeah, so I think I'm going to be switching over from making my mushrooms. And the last of these will go out very shortly, probably after the holiday. And then I will be working on these little faux Christmas fabric stamps when we travel around. So I'm going to put these back in here. So here's one that's almost done. And the only thing I need to do to this one is trim the bottom a little bit, because I made it a little bit smaller than the original piece, but that's okay. And they can be as wonky as you want them to be. That even makes them more fun. And I put a little tiny piece of red material and a little tiny red candy cane from one of those material pieces, the fabric pieces, and a little green circle down there. And I used this sparkly embroidery floss, which is down at the bottom. It's just got little flecks of sparkle in it. And I used gold thread around the outside. And then I didn't have any numbers with me, so all I did was embroider a little 2 in the corner. A little 2. So that's cute. So I'm loving it. I'm loving it. And then I had time to just start another one. And somewhere in the bag, I did cut out a little picture to put on here, but I'll work on that. Isn't that sweet? You can make them tall. You can make them square. You can make them small. All right, so then I came home. And I came in here and I sat down and I was going to start the video. But then it hit me. A stamp. Maybe I can put this like on a postcard, and then I would have this really cute little faux Christmas fabric stamp. The cat hair, sorry. TT was up here. And this can be like a journaling card. You can't send it in the mail, but you can put it in an envelope and send it in the mail. I said, well, that would be great for Happy Mail too. So what am I going to use for a postcard? So the first thing I did was take out one of my old sketchbooks and one of my old art journaling books. These are Strathmore 500 mixed media journals. Strathmore. And I do a lot of daily journaling in here, and I was doing a bit of art journaling too. I was just doing fun stuff. I was just doing a bunch of fun stuff. And acrylics and watercolors. And I have some stories in here which are really funny. I'll have to revisit these stories again, because if you're a new Possum Peep, you might not know about these stories that I have in here, and they are a lot of fun. So anyway, so what I was doing, I was looking for a Christmassy kind of image, and I have this tunnel page. See, it's a tunnel. On purpose, I have this big hole in a page, and here's my little gnome. And I knew that I had this really funky Christmas tree, and it goes around this crystal here because that is supposed to be the inside of a geode. And I wanted to make a tunnel page, and then I was just doing, you know, creative things around the edge of my tunnel pages. And I was following along with Pavy. Pavy is from Peony and Parakeets. I think the name of her channel is Peony and Parakeets. And she was starting off with geometric shapes and just getting looser and looser and looser and crazy loose all over the place. And I turned her little exercise into a Christmas tree and just bended around the little picture there. So I'm thinking that this would make a really fun postcard. It even has some gold glitter pen on there, looks like. And so I took a picture of that and I printed it out. Well, we went to Walmart and I got this glossy, it's like cardstock to print out pictures on. It's Pen and Gear, and it is here somewhere. I'll show you what it is. So this is their brand, Pen and Gear, glossy photo paper. And I haven't used this before. I had bought the matte. And the matte was okay. I wasn't really that happy with it. I mean, I was happy with it, but I'm thinking for some pictures, I want them a little bit more glossy. And especially this, I wanted this to be glossy. But it's not as strong as maybe the paper you would want to use if you were just mailing this as a postcard without putting it in an envelope, because it's a little bendy. I don't know if that would make it through the post. You might have to back it on something that was stronger. Anyway, so it came out really cute. So I made one, and then my printer went a little bonkers and only printed like half of another one because another piece of paper got stuck there. So I trimmed this down. So this is a 3x5 and this is a 4x6. And I did all of that, and then I'm like, it would be fun just to get some watercolor and try this technique again. But then I was like, okay, how did I make this? How did I make this? Very interesting. So I looked at it and I tried to reverse engineer it a little bit, and this is what I came up with. This is what I came up with right here, and this is on watercolor paper. Not too bad, not too bad. Very similar. Very similar. And then I'm like, did I make a video about how I made this? I'm like, ooh, okay. When did I make this? So I'm looking at the date on the spine of the journal. I'm like, ooh, this is the end of 2017. And that is quite a while ago. So I went to my old blog. I have an old blog, and how I did it was on my blog. And then there was a little clip of a YouTube video that I put together with just the still pictures that were from my blog, because this was before I did YouTube. So I must have gone back and added on that YouTube blog. So now I remember sort of how I did this. And I'm thinking, I'm watching my own directions. I'm like, man, that is so easy. I bet anybody can do this. If you want a really fun Christmas doodle that you can make a Christmas card out of, or a Christmas postcard out of, or just a fun journaling card to put your faux Christmas stamps on, this would be so easy. So I'm just going to glue that down. So even though it has that batting, I like that it gives dimension to the journal card. So I'm going to glue that on there like that. And then I was like, oh, I have a postcard stamp somewhere. And you can see how crooked I put it on there. And then I made some lines over here, because all I need is a little space big enough for the stamps like that over there. And then this will be the journaling space over there like that. Isn't this adorable? So fun, so easy. I'm like, okay, I've got my new project going. So now I thought I would share with you a little bit. I don't want to lose these little guys here. Let's put these back in the bag for now. So we know where that is. Titi was in here, and now she's like, I want to go out and see what Mr. Possum's doing. I'm going to finish up. Or you know what? I can do this after, because I can do these both together. So I'm just going to put away my postcard stamp for right now. And you may remember that pack of paper I got at Ocean State Job Lot, in which they said if you buy $20 worth of this paper, they'll give you a crazy deal card worth $20, or whatever you paid for the paper, over $20. And then I took that money and bought kitty litter. So either I got those for free, or I got the kitty litter for free, or I paid half price for everything. Is how I look at it. So I took a sheet of that watercolor paper that I had just gotten, and I cut it into 4 postcard sizes. Now, one side of the watercolor paper has a little bit more texture than the other side. So the back is smooth and the front has this texture on it. So you got to pick a size. There's probably more sizing on this paper than on the back, and the back might be an easier surface to write on. So I think I'm going to stick with the front. I'm going to stick with the front. Now, following my own directions, I took a pen. I took a Sharpie pen, but right now I'm going to use a Micron 505 because I know the microns won't run when I add color to the paper. And this is like just a doodle. This is just a doodle. And remember, we used to do this when we were kids and then color in all the little spaces. So basically that's what you're going to do. You're just going to swirl the pen around like this, just freely like that. That's it. That is the base for our picture. We're going to put color on top of here, but then when we get to adding on the details, we're going to put some darker black lines on top of the color, but yet leave some of the lines below the color, and this is going to give it more dimension. Now, I noticed in my video and on my blog, I used Derwent pencils. These are Inktense pencils. They're like watercolor pencils, but instead of having watercolor in them, they have ink in them. So you color with them, and then you can add a little water with a brush. And the colors are very vibrant. Okay, so I have these colors for the ornaments: teal, green, iris blue, fuchsia. I want a bright yellow. This is sun yellow, tangerine, and poppy red. That'll be for the ornament part. And then for the background, I have just a couple of greens, and that'll be for the like Christmassy tree part. And then I have these Dollar Tree markers, which I will use for the shiny bits, and then I'll come back with some kind of black pen to put in the details. And I use my Signo Uniball pen to put the little white spots on there. And I use my Deco Color Premium Gold Leaf. I put a little gold on the top of the ornaments. I may or may not do that again. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. I think I'm going to take my pencils and make some round shapes and some oblong shapes there for the lights, and put the different colors in first, and then come in and put some green around, like the Christmas tree greenery. So this is very free, very loose. Put a little darker on one side. So I'm going to make a couple of balls and a light shape. Get some yellow on there. So when we were in the Christmas shop There was a couple of strange ornaments there, yes. And it seemed like snack food seemed to be a very popular item. I don't know if I'd like to decorate my tree with like Snicker bars or something. I don't know, just I don't know, it just seemed like a little weird to have all this junk food as Christmas decorations, you know, just, yeah, just a little weird. Some blue lights. You can go over the lines. Don't worry about the lines. And there were Christmas ornaments for every interest, whether it was like music, yeah, things like firefighting and policemen and you know, like military service. Gotta leave some room for the last color there. I could always come back and put more. Oh, and then they had, you know, like the old-fashioned snow globes where you had to tilt it up like this, get the snow to fall. They had some like electric kind of ones that had lights and all the snow inside kept moving by itself, and like the shape of a lantern and all different ones. Of course, you know, they had a lot of the Nightmare Before Christmas. They had a lot of Grinch. They had a lot of children's. They had a lot of children's themed ornaments. Let's see. I didn't make a yellow ball, but let's try it. I don't know how that would come out. Okay, we gotta leave some room to do the background. But before I do the background, I am going to go ahead with my paintbrush, which is somewhere here. Oh. It's right in front of me. I'm going to do the light colored one first, because I want that to be nice and bright. So I did the yellow, now I'm going to do the orange. Oh, that's a red. I'm going to stick to having one color on my brush at a time. And what's nice about the Inktense pencils is once you wet them and they dry, they're a little bit more permanent than the watercolor. So when I come back over it, is that all the orange? I think so, yeah. Some of this red. It won't move, the color won't move around as much. See, I'm going to leave that little white spot right there. I love to leave a little bit of white spot. Now, if you want more brighter colors, you can do this a second time. Oh, this is a really pretty color. Look how it changes when you put the water on there. Don't worry about it being round or not being round, because we're going to do some more doodling on top. Basically, you just want some blobs of color. Okay, which I do next? Let's do the blue ones. Check out this teal here. Ooh, that is gorgeous, isn't it? Or did I forget that one there? I'll come back. I'm going to dry this. You can see how it looks when it's dry. And I'm thinking about putting a little more color on. The yellow looks bright enough. I'm not going to touch the yellow. The reds are pretty bright. But I'm going to add a little more anyway. Another way to use these Inktense is to dip them in water and paint them on like this, instead of drawing first and then wetting them. You can actually just wet the tip of the pencil and do this. Now this watercolor paper seems to be very rough. And I might have liked the smoother side better. I don't know. But I can always do another one. I imagine you can just line up a bunch of cards and just make a whole bunch of these at one time. Once you figure out how you want to do it. But right now, I'm still working out a process. Well, last but not least, they had a lot of glass blown ornaments. All different kinds of animals. And yes, they had a possum. And did I buy it? No, I didn't buy it. Mostly because, well, it was $20. And I guess that's not a bad price for a hand-blown ornament. But I have two cats who love the Christmas tree a little too much. And the ornaments always wind up on the floor. So I didn't want to spend $20 on an ornament that would wind up on the floor. Okay, I think this is enough play for the ornaments. I'm going to dry this and start the background. I'm looking at my little swatch card here. And I think I might go with just a little bit of apple green. And on top of that, put a little bit of felt and then maybe fern. Let's see how that looks. So we'll start with the light one, which is not that one. Apple green. And again, nothing is precise. I want to see some lines, like this is, you know, in a tree. So the more you brush out the color, the more the lines disappear. We're going to start with this. I'm going to activate it. Oh yeah, that's very pretty. See, it gets a little more yellow when you get the water on there. But I'm trying not to erase the lines. I want to see those lines. Now, if you forgot to leave some white spots, don't worry about it. And go back with a white pen and put those in. No problem. Okay, now I'm going to dry this a little bit and then add a different color on top. This is the fern. And I'm just going to make some evergreen needles. Doesn't matter which way they go. The ornaments are going all ways and the lights are going all different ways. I'm going to put a little water on this color now. And just do the same thing I did to the other one. I think I'm going to use the magic marker. This is a Sharpie Ultra Fine Point to do my doodling. And for the doodling, all you do is go around your color, put a little holder at the top, put a little loop if you'd like that. For the lights, I put the little part at the bottom, just go around like that. They could be going in all different directions. You can make the wire go through the ornament if you want. You can darken some of the lines that are not going through the bulb, so the lines that don't go through the bulbs I would make darker. Add some lines if you like. Lots of fun doodling there. As you can see, I thickened up the lines that's outside the ornaments, but did not do that inside the ornament. Almost gives it like a translucent look. Now comes some fun play with sparkles and white and maybe some gold. So these are markers from the Dollar Tree, glitter markers. Shake it up. And I'm just going to put a little bit on the bulb like that. Oh, and what I didn't notice the first time I was working this is that on the bulbs I put the glitter on the inside, and for the lights I put the sparkle around the outside of the light. And it looks like I used a gold color to do that. So let's see how that looks. So the glitter goes outside the light. Now should I make them all gold or use the different colors? And nothing has to be perfect. I just noticed I got 2 spots of yellow, but you know what? I'm going to leave them. I think I got enough bulbs. All right, let's see the green. So you can spend a lot of time just making one and, you know, and then copy it like I did the picture from my journal. Everybody's shining, yep. Now let's do white, and I have a Signo Uniball white gel pen. And I'm going to make a little white mark on the bulbs, and I think I put it at the tip of the light too, like this. Oh, this one doesn't have any sparkly. Oh, you need some sparkle. There you go. This is super fun and super easy to do. Now you can play as much as you want or as little as you want. This is my gold pen, deco color. Problem is this has a big tip, but I could put a little bit of gold at the top of the ornament. Well, that's it. That's my idea right there. But it's fun. It's super fun, super easy. Scribble. You've got something bright and colorful for the holiday and a place to put your faux Christmas stamps. I'm going to let this one dry a little bit and go back to the one I copied out of my sketchbook because it is ready to go with a faux stamp like that. So all I have to do is glue this down, and I bet you just a little bit of tacky glue will work just fine on that cotton batting. And there she is, my crazy scribble and my faux Christmas stamp. Now because that's white, you know, this might look pretty even with a color on the back of here. But you want a light color anyway because you want to write on it. This is going to be a journaling card. And this is almost dry. Then I'll have to stamp the back. And I do have the first one I made. Let's see, what did I do different? Oh, I made the ornaments a little bit smaller on this one, on the one I just did. And I did the glitter pens a little bit differently. Yeah, I like the second one I did a little bit better. Side by side. It just looks, the yellow and the orange look a little brighter, a little more colorful. And that's kind of what I was going for. So this is the second one, and I do like that one better. Okay, well, you can take this idea and do anything with it you want at all. Use any kind of picture. Put any kind of faux fabric stamp on the back. It could be a holiday or seasonal or anything you would like to do. And if you get an idea, please share it in the comments below. I just want to wish everybody happy making. Bye-bye.